All right, so now we are in the vehicle, and we need to remove the dash panel here, and then this whole assembly and then remove the factory stereo. Now mine's going to look a little different because obviously I have a rock hard 4x4 cage here. I have a couple of 67 designs arms hanging off of a double JK mount. I've got a Super Chips trail dash here. So just trust me on this. If you don't know anything else, there is a 7mm bolt right down here. You have to lift off. If you haven't already, there's a rubber tray. You lift that out, and then there is a 7mm, and it's the same 7mm that's holding my JK mount on. And basically what you're gonna do is remove that. All right, after you've got that out, put it someplace safe like a cup holder. In my case, this is going to free up my JK mount, kind of. It is RTV'd and double stick taped in here. There we go. All right, so that's now loose, and I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna unplug my Super Chips. All right, so now that should be caught up to what you guys should see. The next thing we need to do is remove this piece down here, and this just basically clips in at the top, so just grab it, and then it's hinged on the bottom. You can see these two plastic clips here is what holds it in the top. That's going to free up these 7mm bolts we need to remove on each side of the steering wheel. Same thing into the cup holder. It's exactly the same size screw as what was in the top, so you can't worry about mixing those up. All right, there's number 3. All right, so the next thing we want to do now is there are several screws holding not only this in, but also the stereo here. So what we need to do is disassemble this. There's a couple of approaches to handling this, and I've used both and I've seen both. The first one is this is just pressed in, it's clipped in. So if you can grab it and pull on it, or if you can pry it, just do me a favor, if you do pry it, use a plastic pry tool designed for trim so you don't mar everything up. But here's a way that I think a lot of people don't think about, and I'm going to show you removing these vents, which we're going to have to do anyway to change things out. So in order to remove the vents, there is a little tab you can pry up on the top. Now the vent itself rotates around, and if you feel, one side has a little square cut out of it, the other side doesn't. So that side that's got the square cut out on it, you're going to rotate that to the top and align it with the square cut out in the top that you can get to that tab. Now you're kind of doing this blind, but what I think I found is a trick for you. We'll see if it works. Get your vents put straight out. Make sure that the square, the little hole in this center thing is on top. Get everything lined up straight, and then rotate it about 4 or 5 turns until this top one is in line with this little thing right here. And then once you do that, you should be able to fit a screwdriver up in, rotate this down, fit a screwdriver up in there, and then basically pry up and pull that tab down. And these will come right out. Here's a closer look at that tab. And basically, I'm slipping the screwdriver inside and then prying that tab right there. And then as I rotate. But those holes have to line up so you can see through there. You see through my hand. Those have to line up. If they don't line up, you can't get the screwdriver through there. So that's why my little trick hopefully will help. So let's see if it works on the next one. All right, so again, finding the squares on top, and then get it lined up straight out. Rotate it 4 or 5 turns to where this is in the middle. And then I should be able get that in there, rotate it, pull it out. Just like that. Now with these two out, we can literally come back here and carefully pop this center switch panel out. In fact, we can even unplug it from here. It's a 2-stage plug like all the others on these Jeeps. There's a lock. So what I'll do is I'll get it out of here and then show you what I just did. So with that out, you can see now this tab, which I can't push down now because it needs to be. So anyway, this I pull up, and then that allows me to press this piece here, which unplugs it from the back, just like that. So now once we've got this far, the hard stuff is really done. There's another 7mm right in here, so I'm gonna reach in here. All right, back into the cup holder with the other 7mm. And last thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and remove the vent on this side real quick, just so that I can get all of those out. Now I'm gonna drop the steering wheel and gently pull. This whole thing's gonna come out as a unit, just like that. Boom, dash removed. Now for the stereo itself, yep, you guessed it, 7mm. Now what's different about the Seicane unit that's going in is it doesn't use bolts. It doesn't use these little screws to hold it in place. It basically is a part of the whole dash assembly. So the same clips that hold the dash together is also what sort of just holds the head unit in place. Now that we've done that, there's a couple little tabs on top which are putting pressure. Once you get it out though, it should pop right out. Now I have a couple things going on here because I have an aftermarket camera system put in. This stuff is probably, unless you've done the same, not going to be what you're familiar with seeing, but that's okay, we'll deal with that. But basically what you want to do is unplug all of these things from the back of your stereo. These have little tabs you push to release them out. Old stereo out. All right, so I did notice an adjustment I need to make. This is the GPS cable, the factory antenna, and this is the adapter we put into the back of the Seicane. And what I noticed is it doesn't want to fit directly. Now, a lot of people have suggested removing this yellow piece, but I would like to suggest an alternative. So if you hold these up sort of side by side, you can see why the plug doesn't fit. This is keyed, it's got keyholes here in the bottom corners. This one's got one in the corner and then one up here, which obviously doesn't fit because there's no slot for it. So rather than removing this yellow thing, what I suggest we do is just shave off this little ridge here. So it's no longer in the way. All right, that should now allow that to plug in, which is what I want. Let's screw this back into the radio and get everything else mounted up. So by the way, we are in no means ready to install this. Even if the test was successful, there's some more prep work we need to do to get this thing ready to mount. This is just simply a test. So I plan on completely taking this out here in a minute. So now I'm gonna plug in the AM/FM antenna, clips right into place. USB we'll have to deal with later. So this is gonna plug into the main vehicle harness. There are actually two plugs here. Remember, this is for the window controls. And then the last thing I wanna do is go ahead and run my camera in, just so we can test that at the same time. And I'm just gonna run this out to the outside here since we're not installing it anyway. All right, so if all went well, I'm just gonna kind of prop this up in here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take that 7mm that goes down here and just start at a couple threads. Just sort of hold that right there. So we've got our stereo in here, and need some keys. Let's see what happens. That's a good sign. This is the first boot up of the system. It recognized the SD card there. Boom. So what should we do? Let's try the radio. Steering wheel controls work. Oh yeah, baby! The sub is working. I'll probably have to mute this because YouTube will not like the fact that I'm playing somebody else's music on here. But right away, this is nice. So let me go home here. Let's just see if navigation can pick up our GPS location. iGo is installed by default, but we'll mute that. I'm not connected right now to any wireless or cellular, so let's just see if it can figure out. It looks like it's got me on GPS. Oh, let me start it up. And reverse camera works by default. That's awesome. Actually, let me hit video here. So the SD card is shown as GPS. This actually, this card came out of, turn this, came out of my wife's DVR. So this is playing DVR footage. Oops, I turned off the vehicle. Okay, well, I turned off the vehicle, the thing shut down. So I'm an idiot, why would I do that? Let me turn the vehicle back on. Wow, instant start back up. And it picked up the video where I left off. So this is dash cam footage from my wife's vehicle. That's kind of funny. Anyway, can adjust brightness. Here's EQ. All right, we'll play with this later. Sorry, I'm getting too excited. Yeah, I'm gonna end this video now, and the next video I will pick up getting this thing prepared for install. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.